Hello, hello. All right, all right. Okay, I think everything's up and running. So, without further ado, here we go. Three, two, one. What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's stream. Today, I will be editing strangers' photos on from Fiverr. So, yeah, if you're bored, if you've got nothing going on in this Sunday afternoon, then come join me. It's going to be lots of fun. So the thing is, I just finished reading his prompts, and it turns out that the photos are going to be underexposed, severely underexposed, very noisy, and there's a little bit of an issue with composition. So we're going to try to fix that using only Adobe Lightroom. So, sit back and enjoy, hang out with me, put some music on, and let's get to work. All right, let's see what we got here. So we're going to be importing these images first, obviously. Now, just right off the bat, I do see some that are pretty underexposed. A little over on these. And I mean, other than that, this isn't too bad. Oh, so we do have some color issues. What I'm getting right off the bat is that maybe this photographer didn't have flash. Is that? That's what I'm getting. So maybe he just cranked up the ISO a lot. And once the smart previews are done, I'll check the settings on it. Yeah, it seems like maybe snow flash was used. So color correcting some of these might be a little too tricky. So we're going to make do with what we've got. We're going to make this look as best as we can. Let's see. This might actually take a while. What I'm thinking I'm going to do for these is if they are too grainy, I might end up having to just use that new feature, the AI denoise feature. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about. So just giving it a few more minutes. All right. Okay, so the photos are up. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, these obviously look fine. I do have some presets. Since this is kind of similar to a wedding, I'd say, like a wedding environment, I am going to use a preset that I have it's a little like filmy, but I'm going to try to keep everything crisp and sharp for this. So let's see. Now, let's see. I do like to keep my images a little bit warmer, but this just seems like it's a little too much. And it's for somebody else on Fiverr. I just want to reiterate, I did not shoot these. I did not photograph these images. I'm simply editing them. I figured it would be kind of fun and a little bit of practice, and you guys get to see kind of just what I do to my images. So we batch edit when we can. Let's see what that looks like. The reason I'm cropping her other arm is because since it's missing already from this one, since this one's already cropped on this side, it almost doesn't look right if we just show one. So I'm just gonna pull it in a little bit close and keep her as the focus of the image. So yeah. For these, we're pretty much going to do the same thing. But it just seems like we're at the mercy of the lighting that was in that room. So usually in reception halls, because you have either different colored lighting from different situations. So you could be facing this way and you'll get a certain color, and you could be facing the other way and the lighting is completely different. This is why I would advocate the importance of having off-camera flash. Even if you don't know how to use it, you can always use TTL, and that'll at least give you a little bit more consistent lighting. But, I mean, what do I know? So I think executive decision, I'm just going to add a reception preset to all of them, and that's going to kind of put me at the same, like an even playing field for all of the images, and hopefully give us a good place to start, and then we'll start tweaking from there. Little water break. Let's see. Okay. All right. So since I can kind of see everything's more or less the same color, we're going to go back and tweak these again a little bit later. But first, I'm just going to do some exposure fixes from these the shortcut menu that you see over here. Now, neat trick, if you hold down shift, it'll actually do, I believe it's a third of a stop or half a stop instead of the full stop, or there you go, 1/6 of a stop, which incidentally is very helpful. And we'll mess with the colors a little bit later, so don't worry about that. Let's see. So yeah, see, this is like 2.5 stops under. And we're going to have to do some AI noise reduction. Now, we don't have to, but I've played around with it a little bit, and it actually gives you a really nice result. So it can't hurt. I've noticed that what it does do, though, is it creates a, it makes like a duplicate of the DNG file, which I'm actually not sure if it will transfer over the preset that I put on. Oh yeah, these are super grainy. Now hopefully, I'm worried that this one will be a little bit too clipped, but oh, maybe not. And this is a good example of why working with raw is really important, because as you can see, before and after, and you're really able to recover a lot of information from the photograph. Yep. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully everybody's enjoying their Sunday. You know, I thought it'd be fun to, like I said, I thought it'd be fun to edit just some light editing to somebody else's photographs and kind of show you a behind the scenes to what I'm doing and a behind the scenes to my workflow. Now, editing somebody else's images is a little bit difficult because I didn't shoot it. I don't know what the lighting was exactly, but I can kind of get a sense of it. These are the ones that I'm a little weary about. Give me 1 second. I ordered some food, so... So let's see. All right. So like I said, these are the ones that I'm a little weary about, mainly because of the lighting. But I think that if we can't recover natural skin tones, what we're going to have to do is an old trick that event photographers use. And if you are an event photographer, whether you do weddings or whatnot, you'll know that the secret to getting away with an image that you must deliver, but you just blew it on lighting or it's a little blurry, is you make it black and white. And that covers up some mistakes. Hopefully the client doesn't mind getting a black and white image, but that's the secret. Screw it up, make it black and white. Ooh, this one we went overboard. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and we're going to tweak the colors just a bit more. But first, we're just kind of doing exposure matching. Because this one is so half and half, I'm going to actually add, just right off the bat, one of these gradients. And kind of even out the image. Now, I know the background looks, very dramatic with the colors, but because that's how it probably looked at the event, we're going to kind of adjust the colors for the skin tones, and the background will just have to be, it is what it is, as they say. Give me one quick second. So sorry to keep you waiting. Okay. Trying to talk while working is proving to be a little bit more challenging than I expected. So shout outs to all of the people who actually stream for a living, because this is hard to do. It's like an idea gets stuck on the way out. But I think as we do it more, we're going to just get better and better at it. So no worries. We're going to turn down the highlights on this image and just boost the shadows just a tiny bit. Yeah. I'm just worried that the noise reduction is going to override everything that we're doing right now. But screw it. I just can't seem to, oh, look, this is a fun one. I just can't decide if I should do the noise reduction first. I don't know. What do you guys think? Nobody's really watching the stream, but it's what I think is that I should do. And I know I said I'm just doing exposure matching, but sometimes I just can't help myself. I know he probably went wide to try to capture the little crystal ball at the top, but I don't think it's necessary. I think the focus of the image is more her. But I will reserve my judgments, because what do I know? Let's warm this one up a bit. Exposure, sorry, highlights down. But I do want a little bit more contrast on all these images. This one for sure, black and white. There's just no other way. It's a fun image. Clearly this is one of the key people from the event. So I understand why we want to keep it. However, that one might just be beyond recovery. So I do have just a very basic noise reduction. And you know what? I'm just going to apply it to everything. And on the ones that are a little bit more extreme, we'll just use the AI one. But so far, they're looking pretty good, I'd say. And it's so interesting to me how just like some minor tweaks make these images come to life, really. Yeah, see, these artifacts that you're seeing on the image, they're caused by low light. So let's see. This is the AI low light or denoise setting from. Oh yeah, and look how it cleans it up. What I was saying earlier is that it creates a new file. It creates like a. It creates an alternate version of the raw image. I just haven't played enough with it to know if it also brings with it the tweaks that you've made to the image so far. So who knows? What I like to do is I like to kind of zoom into the faces because that's where you're going to see the effect really take place. So you can see this is before, and this would be the after. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Just some noise is expected. I just think that if you go too far, the skin looks really plasticky and fake. Kind of like what I expect that new Barbie movie to look like. Let's see. So I'm going to hit enhance, and it is going to take about a minute to load. So while it loads, you know, if you're catching this stream later, if you watch the video later, leave in the comments below what type of photography do you do? And do you do your own retouching? Do you do your own editing? Or do you outsource it? If so, let me know what your process is. Do you like to tweak the images step by step as I'm doing? Or do you kind of just go one image at a time and just kind of, as you go along, you're trying to figure it out? Or are you just chaos? Do you just start editing this one and then that one and then, oh, this one looks like it would be good and this one looks like it needs a little color adjustment? Let me know in the comments below. I'm actually curious because I've only recently started developing some kind of system to do all of this and to streamline it and to be a little bit more efficient. Although arguably I am not doing that right now. And right now I'm just kind of going with the flow. So let's keep going. So, wait. Oh, okay. So see, this now created the file name and it says enhanced -nr.dng. So this, it replaces the other image. I think the original is still somewhere. I'm not sure where it is, but it gets offloaded from your Lightroom gallery or catalog. Which is, you know, pretty interesting. And it seems like it did bring in the tweaks that I had already done. And it loads them up at the top. So very interesting, very helpful. It does take a little while, and I think you cannot batch denoise. You have to do them on a case-by-case basis, is what I'm gathering from all this, which it makes sense. You know, some images need it more than others. Unfortunately, this looks like it's blown out. Oh, maybe not. Yes, it is. So I will not be able to recover this area right here, which to me just means it will probably be a black and white image. It's like I said, it still captures the fun and the energy from this photograph. And there's nothing wrong with black and white images, I think. You just have to pepper them in strategically, and then it'll look like it was intentional. Let's tone down the highlights just a little bit. Really make them pop. Maybe a tiny bit warmer. This one just a little bit more exposure. Where's this one? We'll deselect it. And actually I'm just going to turn up the noise reduction just by a tiny bit. Okay. Now, what kind of party is this? I don't know. Leave it down below if you know what kind of party this is, but it looks like they're having a lot of fun, so I'm a little jealous. They're out there getting carried around and everybody's chanting and dancing, and I'm sure the food is incredible. Meanwhile, I'm stuck here editing these photos, so tell me how that's fair. But you know what it is? It'd be like that sometimes. And some of us are behind the camera, behind the scenes, and some of us are just full-on party like this guy. Look at him. Whew. Now, you know that this guy's got some dance moves. I like the little flare thing that's going on in the background. Since the image is a little blurry, there's not much I can do to it. I would normally make this black and white just so that we can keep it. However, something about it, I'm going to spare it. Ooh. Bless me. Thank you. So interesting. So again, And I'm just debating again whether or not to do the noise reduction now or later. I'm sorry. It's this when you're working with ADHD. Sometimes you want to do everything at the same time. Look at this. This is cute. This guy. This is my spirit animal right here. Come on. He knows how to have fun. Look at him. Yeah, boy. Let's tone this down just a tiny bit. And let's do, just to make him pop just a little bit. As if the tiger mask wasn't enough to make him pop. Oh no, did I? So it seems he did make some modifications to some of the images. That one was previously cropped. So, yeah. Let's see. If my microphone decides to cooperate. Here we go. Interesting. These I'm just noticing you really have to, I just don't understand like how it has to be no flash, right? That's the only thing I can think of. There's a no flash being used. And that's why the images are this dark. Because if it was, I just don't understand, because sometimes there's no flash and then some of them are overexposed to the point where it's like, well, did a flash go off? Yeah. I'm going to play a little bit of music. If you guys can hear it, if it's too distracting, just let me know in the comments if anybody's watching. If not, we have a question in the chat that says, how do you know when you're done? Well, you kind of have to start knowing where you want to end up. And then as it gets kind of close to that, you'll know that the image is ready. For example, like there's so much that you can do to these images. There's like an infinite possibilities of like, I can make it look like this or like this or like this or like this. So deciding beforehand what you want the image to look like really helps you to know when you've nailed it or when you've gotten there. And you're never really done. You just decide that like this is a good stopping point. And really trying to get them consistent is just that's the move. That's the way to go. But as you can see, in each image, each one of these is so drastically different in color temperature up here at the top that it's like, because the lights are probably flickering or changing colors, it's not consistent. So again, we're advocating for the usage of flash. And it doesn't have to be a fancy flash. You can, especially in a room like this where there's a lot of white on the walls and on the ceiling, you can bounce that flash and it will fill up nicely on everybody's faces, and we can avoid things like these little hot spots right here. So something to keep in mind. And I'm not bashing, this photographer. This might be their, one of their first events doing this, or maybe they're a seasoned photographer and things just didn't work out that day. Either way, we're always, there's always an opportunity to learn, and there's always an opportunity to do things better for the next time. So, overall, everything's good. All of the images he connects with the people really, really well. And he's able to get people to give them natural expressions. He's able to capture moments really well. The only thing that we need, or I would advise that he works on, is the lighting aspect of it. Is just throwing a little flash out there is all I'm saying. So let's see if we how do you oh, here we go. Why was this so difficult to find? So what I'm doing is I created a selection around all of the people except for these that are a little blown out already. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to exposure match all of these. So I'm going to bring everybody up a little bit. And I'm going to go past the point where I think it should be, because that kind of matches where everybody is. And then I'm going to bring the overall exposure of the image down. And as you can see, it's kind of working, kind of not. Okay. We're going to exit this mode, and we're going to make the image a little bit warmer to try to bring in those colors from everybody else. Unfortunately, this just seems like it may be beyond, and the reason is because it's overexposed on these colors. So typically when you overexpose something so much, that information from the camera is lost. So right now I painted over them, and I'm just really cranking up the warmth, and hopefully that can get rid of some of the color issues, even if it's just to the point where it's a little bit more manageable. But as you can see, removing the blue and like purple tones is just gonna be pretty much impossible. So we're gonna make it look, we're gonna make it as manageable as possible. And like I said, regretfully, this is as good as we can get it. We're gonna crank down the exposure just a little bit because we really did go overboard. You know, I noticed that he puts 5 stars on the images. Is that something that you guys do? Do you guys, how do you keep track of which ones are selections? So he made 1 stars for some of them, 4 stars for another. Do you guys do that? Do you guys 1 star, 5 star, 3 star, or do you use the colors? Because I know you can put yellow, green, blue, etc. I'm curious. You know, I use the flags, which is these, and I use the colors. So to me, blue is done. Basically, if I labeled it blue, we're not messing with that photo anymore. It's finished. Now, I don't want to mess too much with the cropping, just because I don't know how this person delivers his images, if he makes them 5:6s or if he changes the aspect ratio in any other way. But I will be doing just some obvious corrections or on cropping. And see, some of these are already cropped, meaning that that's the crop that this photographer chose. So we're not going to mess with that. And again, I know I'm pointing out things that maybe they seem obvious to you. Maybe they seem like mistakes that are like, oh, well, duh, like, how could you mess this up, or how could you do this? But I really want to stress that I'm not trying to put down this photographer for their work. I'm just simply giving you guys, I'm using it as an opportunity to teach you guys and even myself, because some of these mistakes are very common. I mean, it's very, very difficult to do event photography. It's very, very difficult to go from one lighting condition to another. As you can see, like, you know, if he looks to the left, he'll get lighting like this. If he looks to the right, the lighting will be like this. And if he turns around and does, you know, the dance floor, then look how, because his camera, he's trying to not blow out the backdrop, which is smart. He's getting the main person or the subject, the main focus of the image is a little underexposed, which obviously, you know, it gives us problems later. Now, all of these do have kind of like an orangey tint to the skin, and that's in part by the preset, which is a little bit warm, but in the other part because most of the light that we do see coming in from here, although we see it as white, it is in fact something closer to an orange. So when it picks it up on the skin, it's kind of hard to remove. But we shall do our best. Now I'm going to leave this one for later. I'm going to set it as yellow to remind me that it's going to need a little something extra. What is this? Let's see if we can get rid of it. It's just a little distracting, I think. Yeah. Oh, I just realized that all you guys can see is my big fat head, so. So I was talking about this image earlier that he exposed for the backdrop, which is the correct thing to do. Of course, it is going to be it does need a little tweak that I don't want to do right this second. And then this image did have, it looks like maybe some kind of toy or something that's on the floor. So I just tried to delete it. I have a buddy of mine who's really meticulous about how he straightens the images to follow these leading lines. And, you know, it makes a world of difference. And his images are spectacular. It's just that sometimes in these situations, it is a little bit more difficult to accomplish that. But it's another thing that you can be working on is your lines. Like, is everything straight? Is your horizon straight? Or are you making everything look a little crooked? There's always something to learn. I think event photography is kind of like, it's like everything that you've learned up to this point, but fast. Like, how quickly can you change your settings? How quickly can you adapt to lighting changes, color changes? How quickly can you focus before you miss a moment like this? Like, this is happening, boom, boom, boom. You turn around and you're like, oh, whenever I look into this corner, the colors are gonna be, X, Y, or Z. Am I gonna be on automatic white balance, or I gotta crank up my ISO, or I gotta increase my shutter because they're playing around. So it's almost like it puts you to the test every time you do an event. It really does put you to the test. So right here, I'm going to darken everything up just so that we have the person in the center kind of be the focal point. Here, now that I'm thinking about it, we're going to make a radial filter right here. And I know this is me getting distracted again. I'm going to make everything a little bit warmer and a little bit just darker by maybe 0.20, and then I'm going to bring up the brightness once again, and then everything's kind of a little bit more cohesive. This person is still the center of attention, the center of the focus. Just a little, a little bit more cohesive. Let's see. I'm really excited for that Indiana Jones movie. I just remembered, I'm looking at this guy's hat and I'm thinking, Indiana Jones. I saw an interview that he did that made it really seem like, maybe the character might die in the movie. He said, we gave him a fitting end or something like that. And that's really sad. And I think it's interesting that we live in a time where, back then you used to watch a movie and that's it. Like, the story's over, goodbye. And I feel like nowadays, everything that where we dropped off as a child, as a kid, we're like, where are they now? What would they be doing now? And we have this nostalgia for these stories that have long past. And Indiana Jones is one of them. But it seems like maybe they really got it right with this one. Because I know that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was not very good. Or I don't know, maybe, did you like it? I thought it was a little too much with the whole extraterrestrial thing. This is another one that I'm going to do the same thing because basically all of these with the white backdrop, they need a little extra something. See right here, you can see the low shutter. There's like a shutter drag going on with this guy's hands as they clap. And that's mainly due to a low shutter speed will get this effect. And now you've seen this, I'm sure, been done creatively or artistically. But In this case, maybe he was lowering it in order to get more light into the sensor. Because obviously the longer that the shutter is open, the more light can come in, and so you'll get a brighter image. Ooh, look at that. That's like a... That looks like fun. Yeah, you know what's something I never got into, but I always thought was kind of cool as a kid, was like the people who could do those double Dutch jump rope thing. It just looks so complex to me. Like, how do they know when they jump in and jump out? And it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, I can't seem to get this one right, but that's okay. I don't want to make this one black and white, but I just feel like there's too much going on. And a lot of it is like out of focus. And maybe this almost makes it look a little bit more powerful. Something about black and white. And I'm not like clever enough or I can't seem to articulate what it is about black and white images that sometimes they just make you feel something, or as they say, they hit differently. Now, my mic keeps getting in the way, but where is it? Denoise. Let's see. See, this one kind of needs like a little bit of extra. But again, find a face. It's a little out of focus, huh? These are not bad at all. All right, you see these lines right here? If this wasn't intentional, meaning that if this wasn't actually happening in real life and this was created by the camera, this is due to fast shutter. So before we saw what happens if you had a slow shutter, which you get those like shutter drags. And now we're kind of seeing what happens when the shutter is a little too fast. And so a lot of the light that we see, especially if it's LED, most of the times it flickers. And these flickering lights cause these like ripple effects. Now, they happen too fast for our eyes to see, but if we crank up the shutter speed, and again, the shutter is the speed at which the camera like opens and closes in front of the sensor. So if it goes too fast, you'll actually end up seeing these type of these type of like artifacts. So keep that in mind when you are photographing these things. If you want to capture motion, which is what he's doing, he wants to make sure that these girls don't look blurry as they're jumping. But you will see these artifacts in the background. So that's kind of like the pros and cons to everything. And it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. It's just there's always like a little give and take with these things. There's always a little, like if you increase the ISO, the image will be brighter, but you'll also introduce a little bit of noise. So now you know. Again, this one is one that spotlight, the dancing light, kind of hit her too hard right here, so it blew out the image, and that color is a little bit impossible to recover. But if we crank the warmth a little bit, maybe it'll be usable. Now, I can understand that the focus of the image is these ladies and not the girl that's closing her eyes, so I am going to crop in a little bit just to keep the focus on these ladies. Because there's light coming from the bottom reflecting, the bottom is brighter than the top. I think these are good times to use this gradient filter. Put it up to where you see the transition and then just kind of turn up the brightness on it. I usually like to go a little bit over and then I compensate for it by bringing the exposure back down to normal. And now the image kind of looks a little bit more balanced, in my opinion. You know, one thing about streaming that I've noticed so far is how terrible my posture is. So if you're slouching, go ahead and sit up straight. Let's see. Since all of these are pretty much the same, let's do the heavy exposure boost and see what happens. And now I'm going to do the half exposure boost. We're going to skip ahead. We're going to give this one the heavy and yeah. I'm getting a little hungry. Do you guys snack at all while you're editing, or is it just me? And why am I always hungry? This is how I know I'd be a bad streamer. I'd be like snacking the whole time. And I can't imagine there's like an ASMR for that. And if there is, I don't want to know about it. It sounds kind of disgusting. Like people just chewing food. I guess there's mukbang, right? Mukbang. But I don't know. Do you hear the people chewing? I don't know how I got on this topic. Oh, that's right. I'm hungry. All right. Seems like we came to an end right here. Not bad, not bad. The dramatic change in white balance makes me think that maybe this was on auto white balance, but it really doesn't nail the skin tone, so maybe not. Maybe he was changing the white balance like one photo at a time. I don't know. I guess I would say maybe just keep it on auto white balance. That might be the best thing to do. I'm not sure. These are all going to have to be tweaked, selected, isolated, and tweaked. Well, I mean, I think I went a little overboard on this one, but I'm going to bring up the shadows just a bit because for some reason I can't seem to make them pop. Let's see. That looks good. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, right, it's the one that we selected. So may as well do this one already. So this is what I was going to do. I was going to select subject. And we were going to give the temperature adjustment to him specifically. And there you go, not that bad. So now, as you can see, well, as you can see, these are starting to look like they all belong in the same album. Meaning all of these start to look a little bit more cohesive, and I'll kind of slow down. What are we listening to? I put like hip hop lo-fi, and this is just not it, huh? The music's like a little too calm, too sad. Hopefully this stream is a little relaxing for you guys. Sometimes editing really is relaxing. You just kind of get in the flow and let your worries melt away as you listen to some cool music. So we're going to select subject again. This time we're going to add some exposure to this guy, and we're going to tone down the warmth. Accidentally hit God knows what. What did I do? I accidentally entered survey mode, and now I don't know how to exit, so let's find out. Let's see. Okay, if you're ever stuck in survey mode. Oh, I see. Hmm. This is some beyond technical issues right now. Let's see if we can close the second display, I just can't seem to get this little icon. It came up as I was closing it. So hopefully we can get rid of it. No, okay, perfect. Ridiculous. And I was hitting it, but it seems like I have it disabled for some reason. Anyway, long story short, what I was saying, getting back on track, is that all of these are starting to look a little bit more cohesive now, which is good. So now what we'll do is I'm going to start tweaking the colors a little bit to kind of get them to match a little bit better. And that, in essence, is going to be the tricky part. And again, not to sound like a broken record, but it has a lot to do with the flash not being, or lack thereof, actually. Yeah. See, this is what confuses me, because then I see this one, I'm like, oh, this one does have flash, but I mean, who knows at this point? Who knows? What is this, and why do I want it? Like wings or something? How is your Sunday going? Or if you're watching this later, how's your day going? Hopefully it's going great. Mine is perfect. I am learning how to use Lightroom because of that technical difficulties earlier. Let's see. Was not happy with it yet. Is it just the same like 12 songs that are on loop right now? It's like the Instagram or like TikTok loop of songs, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's move this just a tiny bit, if you'll excuse me for a second. There we go. Kind of. Ah. I just love that they have face painting at this. And this little man went with tiger. He's like, I know exactly what I want. I want to be a tiger. You know what? To be honest, I don't blame you. I myself would have chosen probably the same thing. Probably the same thing. What animal would you choose? Do you do the face painting, or did you used to? I don't remember ever doing it. Like, I feel like I was always in the like inflatable balloons and those jumping balloons. I was always doing something like active that would have involved the face paint to smear. So probably a good idea that I didn't. I don't understand how that makes sense. Let's see if we can straighten this out a little bit. It kind of makes me want to use the Photoshop generative fill. But I think that's like a little too much effort on a throwaway photo of chicken, or I don't know what that is, but it looks delicious. You know what? I'm feeling like I'm in a good mood, so let's do it. Now this is the image. You can't see my Photoshop right now, but I am generative filling this as we speak. I also realized that I was in zoom in mode. This is why it's important to have an editor for these things. Maybe one day, maybe if you guys blow up this stream, we'll eventually have budget for a better camera and better equipment, and maybe even a tech to help us manage these videos. But that'd be great. I mean, obviously I would love to. It's so difficult to squeeze everything into your schedule. I don't know how some people do it. My friend Jessica does a lot of videos, and honestly, I don't know how she can keep up. So, boom, there you go. Generative fill, making this piece of chicken and all sorts of things in the background. And now we have kind of a cool image of chicken. Completely unnecessary, but interesting and fun nonetheless. King Solomon Palace. Where is that, by the way? I'm in LA, so I don't know. Is that here? Is that somewhere else? Where is King Solomon's Palace? Let's see. My mic keeps going up every time. There's like a little knob I probably have to twist, but it's fine. It is what it is at the moment. I think this will do. I just noticed that he's holding a little baby doll. What does that mean? Can somebody explain to me what this means? What kind of party is this, and why, or rather how, can I get invited to one? I mean, look at this. Look at that food. We're gonna do a little bit of trickery to see if we can make this guy pop a little bit more. Well, bam. Look at that. That looks a little bit more consistent with everything. We're gonna kind of do something similar to this girl. And just like that, we made it to the top. I don't think she needs this, actually. Maybe... Okay. No? Now, if we look through everything, we should kind of be a bit more consistent. I'm gonna hit attribute and have it show only selected and or flagged and unflagged photos. That way anything that we reject will be removed from our view. I guess 98,000 or 9,800 was a little bit too excessive. Maybe what I'll do is turn down some of the saturation, and that'll kind of get us there. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. So as you can see, the skin tones aren't perfect, but they are acceptable because of the type of light that was in this environment, I think. There are going to be a few that we have to make black and white, kind of like these. And in a way, it's good that there's a few of them because then it looks intentional. It looks like maybe this guy's just very creative, you know? You don't... Like, hey, some of my photos are in black and white because I'm an artist. I didn't mess up. I didn't get this out of focus. I am an artist. We're going to put this one back into color. There he is. Now, if this was my photos, especially now with generative fill, you know, I think it would be smart to take another 30 seconds and then just give a little bit more headroom right here. Because right now the photo is so cropped and tight that it's almost like this right here is the center of the focus. And obviously that's not it. It's supposed to be his head. So I would find a way to get a little bit wider on it, but that's just me. You don't have to. Most of my tips are just things that I would do. They're not necessarily the right thing to do, but I'm just adjusting a few compositional, I don't want to call them issues, but just to make things a little bit better. Like, these people are clearly not part of the image, so let's get rid of them. I accidentally made this guy black and white as well. All right, yeah, these are the ones that need a little bit of extra something. What I'm going to do is select subject, and then I'm just going to cool down the skin tones on him, brighten him back up, maybe add a little bit of contrast, and there you go. I'm going to synchronize this mask. It might take a few extra seconds, but it should work because it's the same person. I've never really tried synchronizing not the same person, but you know, you never know. So I am going to remove this, and I'm going to see if I can batch denoise. Let's see what it says. Should clean it up a little bit nicely. And again, I'm leaving a little bit of noise because I think it's acceptable to have some, especially in this situation, but I don't want to make it too dramatic. As in like too drastic of a noise change. Nah, I mean, what is up with my microphone? I just can't seem to get it in a place that I'm happy with. You know what? As I'm looking at this, I kind of like the skin tone over here a little bit warmer, so I'm gonna make this one a bit warmer and this one a bit cooler. We kind of have to do this one again. Oh, maybe not. I think we're pretty much reaching a stopping point right now. The photos are not finished. However, we're at a point where the exposure is pretty much balanced on on all of them. And I think it's a good place to stop, mainly because, to be honest, I'm hungry. So, yeah. But I might come back to them a little bit later. And then really start tweaking just the minor little details. It's basically what I'm doing right now. Just to get them all as close to each other as possible. It's mainly changing the warmth and the warmth of the images. It's mainly what it is. So yeah. What do you guys think? I think we're doing a pretty good job, right? This one, I am inclined to just remove it, but maybe this is an important person in the event, and this is the only image they got of her, so it's like, can't remove her. All right, so I'm going to scrub through these and do like a batch denoise this time. So let's see. We're gonna denoise, and I think we're gonna play it safe by going to 40. You know what? Screw it. We're doing 45. So this says it's going to take 17 minutes. So without further ado, I think that we've reached a good stopping point. I'm going to denoise all of these images, and I'll make sure that maybe I'll make a part 2 to this, but I'll probably do this later today. So maybe I'll do a live to come back and do this, but really all that we're going to do is, like I said, denoise them. And this is saying 17 minutes for, 44 of the images. So we would have to do this essentially 2 more times. And I don't want to make you guys just sit there and wait. So, yeah, this is a good place to stop. I'll catch you guys on the next video. I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably do this maybe a little bit later today. Still a little bit early. If not, I will post on my Instagram an update to these images and see what the client says. So if you guys liked this video, please leave a comment down below with suggestions for other videos. Hit that like button and subscribe, as everyone always tells you to do, because it really helps the channel. You know, we just hit 1,000 subscribers not too long ago. However, I haven't been posting that many videos, so I am not monetized yet. And that's kind of something that I want to do. I want to see if maybe incorporating YouTube into my photography is something that is possible for me. If you guys find this entertaining, if you like it, let me know down below. If not, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.